It's the end of woke Hollywood as we know it, and I feel fine, says Nerdrotic. Okay? Jumping straight into it. All right, let's go. Let's go.
My name is Margaret. I am SAG actor. I'm a
She said her name's Margaret, and she's a background actor?
background actor.
This is the tale of Margaret E. Owens of
Yay!
Philadelphia, background actor. Once upon a time, in a land where dreams came to life, there lived a talented soul named Margaret. She toiled tirelessly, day after day, spending countless hours on a magical set, bathed in the soft glow of the spotlight.
Sorry, do I know you?
So now that I'm standing in front of you, you have nothing to add?
I didn't say anything.
So you didn't just call me a fat ass as I jogged by? There's no one around.
I'm telling you, I didn't say a word.
You're not that skinny anyway. Keep running.
Okay.
Yet, amidst all the enchantment, she received no credit for her tireless efforts.
I'm lucky I have a 9-to-5 job that I can fall back on, but truly, this is my passion and I can't do it.
Well, boo f***ing who?
Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 549,000 awakening wonders in the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. It has been, at time of
Lucky.
recording, 131 days since the Writers Guild of America went on strike and 58 days since the Film Actors Guild has gone on strike. Let's see how things are going.
Big news from Hollywood. Late night shows and Saturday Night Live are going dark.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon.
I'm Stephen Colbert.
I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I thought when you said Jimmy, you meant me, Jimmy, but you meant Jimmy.
I always mean you.
But when you
I
say
always mean.
Seth Meyers, who do you mean?
I mean John Oliver.
That makes
It's the
sense.
five of us together for maybe an hour a day.
Oh, somebody kill me, please!
Efforts at damage control are on over at The Tonight Show after a devastating article claimed that host Jimmy Fallon has created a toxic workplace.
Some former
Oh my
employee-
god, I heard that. I heard Jimmy Fallon's actually like this complete asshole. I don't know if that's true though, because he seems so nice. But that's the thing. When they seem so nice, they're secretly evil. Did you guys hear the drama about that? Wait, I'm just trying to move me. I think I'll move me down here. Yeah, I think that's a good place to be, right? Okay, I'm gonna settle on in here. Maybe I'll just cover that because, I mean, do we really need to? Yeah, heavy side eye. Okay.
These even claimed there were so-called crying rooms where staffers would sit and weep. Others claimed their hair was thinning and even suicidal thoughts due to the stress of working for Fallon.
I need my writers. I need them real bad.
Mila Kunis describes Masterson, a convicted rapist, as having a...
Oh my god, I heard about this too. This was insane. Apparently this guy, do you remember the guy from the 70s, that 70s show? That was one of my favorite shows, Steven. That was his name. Apparently, folks, back then, he was doing awful things. Apparently, yeah. Apparently, that 70s show. Apparently, he was obviously having sex with with girls, and obviously that's fine, but here's the thing. He would drug them and he would rape them. That's the claim. Now, do we think this is true? I don't know. And here's another thing. Apparently these girls went to court, right? And whenever it was, like not recently, but they went to court and he paid them. Did they go to court? He paid them a type of settlement to just sort of like drop it. And then bam, it's all back in the news again. So like they're getting more money now. And he's married. He got 30 years in jail. I heard. It's crazy. This is the weird thing, right? Like when you are a young, how old was he back then? 21, 20? I don't know. When you're a young guy or girl, whatever, let's just say guy for argument's sake, right? You're this dude and you're young and you're famous and you've got like this mansion and you're just rolling in money. And obviously girls are gonna just fall into your lap. Like they're gonna want you because of your name, right? That's the unfortunate thing. But I don't know, I had a feeling like if I am to really say this out loud, and I haven't watched this video, but if I am to say this out loud, this is me being honest, I think those girls probably went, and I'm not saying like the whole rape thing, that's bad. Boo, terrible, bad, okay? But was it really rape? Like, obviously they went over to his house with the intention that they were probably gonna screw him, right? These two girls. And, you know, like, why did you go over there in the first place if you didn't think like you were gonna have some sort of a fun time with this guy? Like, for sure, they had the intention, like, we're gonna go over there and we're gonna, I don't know, Zara, ... I just think that, like, when you're young and you see famous people, you might be the type of person that will go, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to hang out with this person. And yeah, if we have a fun time, we're partying and stuff, it might just happen. Cool. But I don't know if it's true. Like, did they actually get drugged? Because if they did, then that's horrible, right? There is no excuse. This guy should definitely go to jail for that, for raping and shit. But what I'm saying is, it wouldn't have happened if they didn't go in the first place. And why did they go in the first place? Did they go with their parents? No. You know, they were just teenagers, horny teenagers, thinking like, oh yeah, we'll go over to his house and party, and then bam! Unfortunately, that shit happened. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, God knows the truth, right? If we are to be religious right now, God knows the truth. I don't know the truth, but I do think this is a scandalous, sad story. I feel really disturbed by this guy for sure, because I watched that 70s show and I really enjoyed it. My favorite was Fez. I really liked Fez and Mila Kunis, obviously this chick, Jackie. I didn't really care for Steve, to be honest. He was just like the lone stoner. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue on. To tell you the truth, I never heard of this guy. Oh yeah? He's from that 70s show, and that's it. That's all I know. Shut up, Meg. It's a power dynamic. Yeah.
Caring nature.
Oh my God, Red was awesome. Red and Kitty. Kitty was the wife. Fez also has a history like that, I think, though. Oh my God, really? What about Ashton Kutcher? Yeah, Red was the best. Red was awesome.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims.
But after weeks on the picket line, the strike is taking its toll.
This is the first month since I moved out here that I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent this month.
What about food, gas?
Oh my God.
All those things you have to get through the day.
Things are really hard right now. Things are really
Wait, is this the chick?
I don't think I'm going out on a limb here by saying things aren't going so well for woke Hollywood, and we're seeing it break up right before our eyes, and this may come as a surprise to everyone working in Tinseltown, although it shouldn't. There's a lot of people who either don't care or who are enjoying the hell out of this.
The LA Times came out with a poll, and it showed that not a lot of people are really thinking about that. I think it was only like 38% of respondents say they sympathize more with the striking actors and writers.
People are struggling to make their bills, keep their lights on. I mean, the way the economy is, even though you keep hearing from this administration how strong and wonderful everything is, people aren't feeling that. Inflation's through the roof, and so people don't care as much about, you know, striking writers and striking actors. It's about number 74 on their list of 75 things. I don't think you're going to get a big public outcry supporting this.
Again, most human beings on planet Earth could care less about the WGA or the Film Actors Guild strikes, and that should shake the entire entertainment industry to its core. But there are some who have broken out the marshmallows and they're roasting them on the...
Yeah, like, to be honest with you, at the start of this video, it talked about this lady who said she is a background actor. That just means you're not a featured actor, or you're an extra, or, you know, whatever. And when you're an extra, you don't really get paid much. You'd be really surprised. When I did extra work, just for the exposure, just for the experience, and sometimes it was like there'd be Jackie Chan in the movie, or, you know, like big deal folks, and like Hollywood people, and you want to do it just because there's a chance you might bump into them, get a selfie with them, so you do it. Why not, right? And hey, you get paid to be there for 8 hours, cool. But sometimes it was not, I mean, it's pocket money, not even pocket money, like peanuts, like tiny amount. A friend of mine went on this, speaking of Jackie Chan, he went on one of these Jackie Chan like extra work. I can't remember. It was the one that was filmed in Dubai, and he got to meet Jackie Chan, which was great. Just in passing, he was like, "Jackie Chan, can I please have a selfie with you?" And Jackie Chan's like, "Cool." So they took a picture together, and he got paid $100. Guess how many hours he had to work? Yeah, it was between 8 to 12 hours. So they were like 12 hours on, like 12 hours max. Don't worry, you won't go over that. But we'll pay you $100. No, it was only 12 hours. It was 8 to 12, and he ended up doing 8 hours. But I still think that's pretty bad. $100? Like, you kidding me? Whenever I did commercials and stuff, I get paid $3,000 for anywhere between 6 to 8 hours. Minimum $3,000. This is for commercials. So I'm like, wow. It's still over minimum wage though. You reckon? Oh my God. I guess it's different because in Dubai, it's good money. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So whenever I got offered these things, I'm like, I don't care if Ludacris is there. I don't care if, you know what I mean? Like this was, there was a potential job and they needed extras and they wanted me to be there. And they were like, you just dance in a club. Like all you have to do is just dance in a club. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like Ludacris is going to be there. And I'm like, I don't care if Ludacris is going to be there. I'm not doing that for $100. You kidding me? Anyways, yeah. It's just nuts. So yeah, for sure. In the beginning of this video, this lady said she is a background actor and she obviously doesn't get paid much. So she has a 9-to-5 job, which actually pays the bills. But this is her passion. This acting stuff is her passion. And she wishes she could do this, you know, full time. She wishes this could be her 9-to-5 job, if you know what I mean. So it was the same with me. I have, you know, acting, modeling, that's never going to be a full-time thing for me. I'll never be a supermodel. You'll never see me catwalk on the bloody Victoria's Secret runway. Do you know what I mean? Like those are serious models. Those are like serious models that get paid shitloads. So yeah, for sure. It's a whole different category in itself. And you'll never see me, oh, you never say never, but you'll never see me, you know, in Hollywood. Being a main actress, like no way. But yeah, so obviously this side of things is my freelance stuff 1 year later. Nah, but you know what I mean? Like it's always been, it's never been a full-time thing. I did meet one girl who was modeling full-time from Brazil. Like they'd fly her out. She was an international model and they'd fly her out. And we met and I asked her, I was like, listen, like how easy is it to be a model full-time? And she said, oh my God. She said no. She said she had to, so she was married. She said, I have to be married because he has to help pay the bills because I cannot. And that's what she said. And I'm like, are you happy? Like, let's not, okay, we're talking about one thing and now we're talking about another thing, but like, are you actually happy now? But she was, apparently she was happy. She still is married. But she knows is what it was telling, like what the end of the story was this. This is never going to be a sustainable job, right? Yeah. And she does this full time. Not a reason to be married. That's what I was thinking. I didn't even want to ask, but I had a feeling. I'm like, is he going to die tomorrow? Anyways, because she's gorgeous. It's such a shame. But yeah, she'll say like sometimes 1 month she won't get paid. Because sometimes it depends on the contract as well. It depends on the client. Sometimes they'll pay 3 months later. So it's crazy. Retro, hi.
A Hollywood inferno. The strikes are just the latest of the self-inflicted wounds, including but not limited to Hollywood abandoning viable revenue streams like licensing, physical media, and the theaters so they could go all in on the new Silicon Valley / Netflix tech model of fake it till you make it until they found out they couldn't make it. The streaming bubble burst, and now the entertainment capital of the world is dealing with a little shrinkage, and they're not taking it too well. Woke Hollywood is starting to eat itself, and it's glorious. But how could you say that? People are losing their jobs. Yes, to the good people in Hollywood and the innocent parties who have nothing to do with the culture war, my heart goes out to you. Unfortunately, the face of your industry, you know, the producers, the writers, and the adult pretenders, seems to hate the customer. That's the perception, and therefore that's the reality. Whoa. And it's not like we haven't been warning you that this was coming for years. We tried to...
Did you hear the drama about Snow White? That chick is gonna be, not that chick, this chick, she's gonna be playing Snow White. And there is this joke that's going around. It's like a meme, and I'll just quote it, even though, I mean, I don't necessarily agree, but when you think of Snow White, I'm sorry, but like, she's Colombian, I think? She's not white. Okay? Like you would imagine Nicole Kidman, for example. Now, she's white. You'd imagine Kate Winslet. She's white. I mean, I'm just saying, like, Snow White. Who's the fairest of them all? That's what you say. That's what Snow White says when she looks in the damn mirror. She says that. And what next? No dwarves? Yeah, apparently there's no dwarves. Apparently dwarves is like, you're shaming little people. That's what they said. And that was another meme in itself. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But that's what it's called. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Like you need to have the seven dwarves. Like what are you talking about? In Lord of the Rings, dwarves are epic. They're epic, man. They're not something you laugh at. Are you kidding me? They're awesome. It was just insane when I heard this. I'm like, why? And apparently Prince Charming, what is that about Prince Charming? There is no Prince Charming. So like, why are we even calling this Snow White? Why don't just call it something else? That's what it was.
To hate the customer. That's the perception, and therefore that's the reality. And it's not like we haven't been warning you that this was coming for years. We tried to warn you that demonizing half of the country because they supported a president, a guy Hollywood used to love, wasn't a good idea. We tried to warn you that rooting on the Summer of Love, which was cities in America burning, probably wasn't a good idea. One or two of us might have pointed out that allowing activists who don't like things like capitalism into your companies might not be very good for an industry that needs to make money. And I'm pretty sure a few people brought up that allowing that activist wolf in the door would lead to things like DEI or quotas and rules on your...
Wait a second, I heard about this. For the 96th Oscars, a film must meet 2 out of the 4 of the following standards to be deemed eligible. Okay, so we've got at least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group, Asian, Hispanic, Black, African American, Indigenous, okay, Middle Eastern, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, other underrepresented race or what? I heard about this. At least 30% of all actors in secondary and more minor roles are from at least 2 of the following underrepresented groups, and then they have to be either women. Like the list goes on. What is happening? They shouldn't be doing this. And I mean, I'm mixed Asian, and I don't care. Like I don't care to have. There doesn't have to be an Asian in every single Netflix thing to be a pass, you know what I mean? Like it's insane. Yeah, I find it strange. Honestly, I find it strange. Like I wonder what they think now if they were to watch, like people that are following this right now, this, you know, the 96th Oscars, whatever. Imagine if they were to talk about Lord of the Rings back then. There was none of those. I mean, surely maybe 30% of the actors were women, but come on. It's crazy. It's crazy. And now when you see it, you can't unsee it. So for example, I've been watching a little bit of The Wheel of Time. Season 2 is out, and I didn't read the 14 books. I tried reading the first book and I kind of got lost. But it is a fun read. I've heard it's really, really amazing. If you're a bookworm like me, maybe you've read it. I kind of feel like I should get back into it. But anyway, that's another story. But I did try watching season 1 and I didn't really enjoy it. But season 2's, it's getting better. Yeah. But I can't help but notice. I'm like, yeah, it's ticking all of these boxes. Like they've said, you can't proceed. You can't be, you know, you can't get the final stamp of approval unless you have all these. It's just so bizarre. Like I think when they do that, they make us more divided, to be honest. It makes it more, it's like throwing a massive glass jar in the middle of the room and going, everybody, let's pick it all up, put it all together, and then expecting all of us to be okay with that. Like, fuck, you threw the fucking vase, you pick it up. Do you know what I mean? Like you pick up all the shattered pieces. I don't know what's over there, but apparently that's the person who threw it. Anyways.
Your awards, that limits things like creativity, which in turn leads to things like subverting and vandalizing beloved properties that used to make you money. And I seem to recall millions of people pointing out that maybe it's not the best idea to root on things like authoritarianism, especially when people just wanted to go to work and save their homes.
No, screw your freedom.
Wear a mask, social distance. If you can't do that, I don't have much respect.
And yes, we are doing.
But then again, I'm sorry, like, I get that. I get it. I get that too, but didn't they not have masks in a particular country that is doing really well now? I don't know. Again, I agree. I'm glad I wore the mask and all that stuff, but still, that's a whole other story.
Doing it maskless. Think of this as a movie set. An Oscars movie with a cast of over 200 nominees. So, just like on a movie set, when we're rolling, masks off.
And now we have Hollywood actors and writers concerned about losing their jobs and losing their homes. No, they really couldn't have written a better script. From The Hollywood Reporter, record number of Hollywood workers facing evictions, seeking rent assistance amid strikes. Actors, writers, and crew members are being hit by both the work stoppage and the end to the COVID tenant protections, as MPTF President Bob Beitcher says we're talking to people who are living in their cars and in some cases with their families. I think this is a good time to point out once again that Hollywood was considered essential by the state of California during COVID, when millions of people, including my wife, were not. For those of you who are new to the channel, thanks to the COVID policies of Mayor London Breed of San Francisco and Governor Gavin Newsom of California, my wife was forced to shut down her very successful salon of 15 years forever.
Wow.
Anyway, back to the article. 4 months into the writer's strike and almost 2 months into the Film Actors Guild strike, the fear of industry workers losing their apartments and homes due to the work stop.
Wait, what's going on? Oh, I did say this earlier, folks. Don't fight. No fighting in the channel. Don't fight in the channel. Like, you're more than welcome to have your own. You're more than welcome to have your own opinions, but keep them to yourself right now. Like, it's fine. We want to hear it, but just be mindful. Be in your own bubble, and let's not upset other folks. Like, leave your opinions to yourself. Throw it out there. That's cool, but just leave it. Fight for the night winners, says Balzilla. Thank you. Thank you, by the way, for 100 bitty bits. And Mr. Wick. And Bilal, thank you very much for resubbing. Gotta save my actress wife job. Yeah, it's tough. I think, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff here. He's jumping from so many different conversations. I feel like it's interesting. It's interesting because it's keeping me on my toes. All right, we're almost finished,
Stoppage
folks.
has become
10 more minutes.
Become an increasingly looming threat. A work stoppage that both the Writers Guild of America and the Film Actors Guild voted to approve. In July, Deadline published a story with quotes from an anonymous studio exec saying the game plan was to let strikes drag on until union members were losing their housing. And at a recent event, entertainment community fundraiser Annette Benning confirmed that this is indeed happening. For many non-celebrity actors, the strikes have been financially ruinous. The strike has had a massive impact on my housing situation. I worked one day in May, and since then, all work has stopped. Actor David Bach told The Hollywood Reporter, I've almost depleted my entire savings, and I haven't been able to pay my rent in the last few months. My building manager and property owners extended me a grace period due to the good social credit I have built up by doing some gardening and landscaping in our building's common area. Noble. However, in early August, I received an eviction notice from the building management company taped to my front door. Ugh. Now, maybe David Bach forgot to mention it, or maybe he didn't want to mention it for the narrative, but I didn't hear anything about looking for another job.
Yes. That's the thing. It's kind of like here, like on Twitch, for example. Some of us, we all have our own different timelines, right? It really does depend. And I know luck or connections might play an important factor in Hollywood for sure. And how far you're willing to go, as you guys have heard. He's keeping us on our toes, and I have a lot of stuff to say as well. We were just comparing this to Twitch, for example, how everybody has their own journey, right? Our own timeline. Sometimes it might take someone 3 years, it might take someone 3 months to get to partner, for example. But for others, it's just everyone is different. So someone might be more successful than you now. You might overtake them. We never know, right? It does. There's a lot of factors that is behind all of that supports it all. And is it consistency? Is it your personality? Personality is a big thing. It's a big deal. And so I don't know. Like this right now. They were talking about this actor. He was talking about an actor who said he can't pay the bills. He got evicted. He was gardening and doing a whole bunch of like secondary jobs just to, help him pay his rent. And he didn't mention anywhere looking for a job or anything like that. So that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm working on a 10-year plan to partner, says Double. Honestly, like, I have to be brutally honest with you. If this was me, if I had done this for 2 years and I didn't hit partner, I would probably give up. If I didn't get partner in the first year, maybe I'd push it by like maybe another half. I would tell myself I'm going to give myself 2 years. 2 years, because my savings, folks, it's running out, right? It's not forever, right? Of course, I've got investments as well, and I aspire one day to buy my own house, but that's another story. Right now, my money is, you know, an X amount, and it's not, well, if the stocks do well, then it is going to go up. But, you know, I have a set amount that is for the bills and stuff like that, and I have kept that all aside in priority, right, to help me give this a shot here on Twitch. But for sure, I'd have to chase my demons one day and just say, look, if this isn't going well for me, I should just go back to, you know, working, because I think 10 years is a long time, man. But that's the thing, you have to just be honest with yourself, brutally honest with yourself. People are going to be supporting you and stuff anyways, but you have to be honest with yourself. Like, are you still enjoying this? If you're not, you know, maybe just, yeah, you got to survive. Yeah. I think if it's 10 years, man, you're going to look back and go, Jesus, I could have made money if I was more money if I was working in, I don't know, another job. And maybe you could still do this, but you know.
Or taking on some gig work like Uber Eats or Uber for a side hustle. Admitting it's downright humbling as an adult to come to find you've reached the limit of your own self-sufficiency and that it's time to ask for help. He applied to the Film Actors Guild Foundation's aide program and quickly received a check for the month's rent. Why do you need to apply? They're the ones who decide to go on strike, and a lot of their members need to pay rent and mortgages. You think the union would have had that all worked out since they're the ones who decided to go on strike, but quite frankly, I don't know how unions operate, because in any of my previous careers...
Oh shit, I'm so sorry. Let me rewind. We were talking about Uber. We were talking about this guy. Was it this guy? Yeah, it was this guy. I'm so sorry.
But I didn't hear anything about looking for another job or taking on some gig work like Uber Eats or Uber.
Yeah, so this actor guy said he didn't have any money, right? And he hadn't had a job, like an acting job, since May. And so, pro streamer, by the way. Pro. Yeah, breathe, woman. I've just had Coca-Cola, so I'm feeling a little bit high on sugar. Yeah, get a job, you bum. But that's the thing, like, obviously, if you are having money problems, you should definitely look. I guess only you can pace yourself, right? That's the scary thing. Yeah. Thank you, folks, for the birthday wishes.
Or a side hustle. Admitting it's downright humbling as an adult to come to find you've reached the limit of your own self-sufficiency and that it's time to ask for help. He applied to the Film Actors Guild Foundation's aide program and quickly received a check for the month's rent. Why do you need to apply? They're the ones who decide to go on strike, and a lot of their members need to pay rent and mortgages. You think the union would have had that all worked out since they're the ones who decided to go on strike, but quite frankly, I don't know how unions operate, because in any of my previous careers, when I had a chance to join one, I didn't, for precisely these reasons. Listen, I want this guy to be able to pay his rent. I'm not rooting for the producers or the studios or the actors or the writers. I'm coming at this from a customer perspective, and I have to ask, is this all bullshit? We're not talking about an industry that's known for its candor. And despite the fact that the WGA and the Film Actors Guild are constantly talking about their unity and claiming they're just around the corner from total victory, we also have articles like this from the Hollywood Reporter. Majority of Americans support writers, actors over studios and strikes. Gallup poll finds union support remains high among Americans as more than 70% side with the writers. You don't say. That sounds impressive, doesn't it? Except when you hear this. The Gallup poll was conducted via telephone interviews in August with a random sample of just over 1,000 adults living in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Well, I ran a little poll of my own on Twitter back on August 11th, and I asked, do you care about the Hollywood strike? 3.2% said yes, hurry back. 96.8% said no, stay on.
He has a questioning poll. Yeah, do you care about the Hollywood strike? I mean, that's a lot of votes. Votes, folks. Votes, folks. I was trying to say folks. Votes, folks. That's a lot.
Strike. By the way, that poll received 12,909 votes. And now the unions want to divide and conquer by trying to break up the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. And to be fair, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers are trying to break up the unions, and I'm for all of them breaking up. Quite frankly, neither side has looked very
It's Twitter. Was that Twitter or was that YouTube?
good to this point, and the AMPTP, or the Armpit as I like to call them, has also hired a prominent Washington, D.C. based crisis PR firm to help with its messaging, which hasn't been very good. By the way, that crisis PR firm also helped Washington, D.C. with its messaging during a certain pizza incident. And unwisely, the writers and actors decided to use the Star Trek franchise today to get their messaging out. Star Trek stars join the picket lines in Hollywood, and there we see George Takei, Mr. Day Rate Player himself, according to William Shatner, and Mr. Consequence Culture LeVar Burton. It's interesting they bring up Star Trek, the once storied franchise that was brought back and turned into repurposed garbage by Jar Jar Abrams and Alex Kurtzman, and when they accidentally made a good season of television with Terry Metalis' Picard Season 3, they decided to grab defeat out of the jaws of victory and follow it up with more garbage.
I feel really bad because I didn't actually watch any Star Trek. Just not my thing. I am pro Star Wars. Jar Jar, I heard that.
Making Kurtzman Trek one of the best examples of everything wrong with woke Hollywood.
What the hell?
What the f? So despite all the rhetoric and the yammering, it kind of seems that the producers are getting exactly what they want. Force majeure is in full effect. From NBC News, Warner Brothers suspends deals with Mindy Kaling, the creator of the wildly unsuccessful Velma, and Jar Jar Abrams, the destroyer of franchises. Shows are being canceled like Amazon's The Peripheral, despite getting a second season. Now, to be fair, the only reason it got a second season was they didn't want to piss off Chris Nolan's brother. And the disastrous Disney Plus is using this opportunity to delay, hopefully indefinitely, shows like Echo and Agatha, whatever the hell it's called now, because it's gone through 3 title changes. But not to worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're still getting the Marvels in November. I said before this strike started, look for a lot of shows to be outright canceled or very quietly shelved indefinitely.
That is me, by the way. That's how that is me on Discord. That is me on Reddit. I'm like, how? Oh, wait. Just okay. Yeah, okay. I give up.
And that's happening, and we've only just begun. As we have gone over extensively in my previous strike videos, Hollywood has finally been forced to look at some of the errors of their ways. Due to new technology, they are in the midst of a massive paradigm shift that they weren't ready for.
Every time the technology changes, there's a strike. Yeah. What I was saying, I think the other day, was that that's the card you're dealt. The technology has changed. You can't turn back the hands of time, as Cher said. Now, of course, the problem with the streaming is that 2 of the biggest media companies now, Amazon and Apple, they don't care about this stuff. It's a side gig. It's just a flex to impress their girlfriends to have movie companies.
Bill Maher's an idiot, but he's right on this one. Streaming isn't going anywhere. You can't unmake the soup. And instead of being the great decentralization of Hollywood that it should have been, it's going to be the great contraction thanks to the strike, and thanks to a lot of government interference dating back to the 90s and the Clinton administration. It will only speed up the mergers, the consolidations, and be what the producers wanted this to be from the get-go, a purge. And all of this would have been hard enough to overcome for Hollywood, except for one thing that makes it 1,000 times worse: the culture war. Something the corporate media and the corporations will never mention. Not that they're not aware of it. No, au contraire. They're active participants. Social engineering, fortification, and forced behavior. Don't believe me?
You have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not recruiting. It is development, as Ken said. And ultimately, it's still going to take time, but I am just as much shocked as Ken is that we have not seen more opportunities, and we're going to have to force change.
That, again, was the head of BlackRock, who just so happens to own a sizable portion of stock in Apple.
It was just a big, massive, winded paragraph of a sentence that could have just been this short to get to his point.
Disney, Google, Amazon, Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount, I could go on. And let's not forget Vanguard's in there too, and somehow Vanguard owns more BlackRock stock in BlackRock than BlackRock. And this is happening all through the entertainment industry, all through mainstream media, all through big tech, and all through our entire society. That's why giant corporations who are supposed to be in competition with each other all have very similar messaging, and that's why so many of our favorite properties are being reimagined for a modern audience. Woke Hollywood doesn't want to admit they're part of the social engineering and trying to push things like compelled speech, like with this pronoun garbage that my good friend Az just went through. The entertainment industry as a whole, and particularly corporate woke Hollywood, also doesn't mention the culture war because they never thought they would lose it. The culture war, or the pop culture war, is far from over, and no one said it would ever be easy, but we are gaining the upper hand. We are starting to win because they didn't think we'd do something like talk to each other. Me and a lot of my co-hosts from FNT have traveled across the country this year to
I kind of feel bad for, I mean, I know a lot of us are hating this chick because of the stuff she's said. And I know I should watch more stuff on this Rachel chick that she's the actress, the main actress that's playing Snow White role. But at the end of the day, right, like she's just an actress. Well, she's a person trying, I don't even want to say the word woman because what is she, 20? I guess she is a woman. She's 20 something, right? Early 20s. She is a young woman who is trying to make it big in Hollywood. And yeah, she's very opinionated with some of the stuff that obviously a lot of us are against. But at the end of the day, she just wants money. She just wants money, right? She wants to be a main actress in a role and get paid. That's really what she wants. She wants to be rich, right? So I don't know. I mean, are these the lengths she'll go to do that stuff? So I think, like, yes, we shouldn't really feel that much sympathy because of the stuff that she's said. But at the same time, I think, you know, she's doing what she possibly can. And there's a lot of people, to be fair, there's a lot of people backing her up. I'm not saying I'm backing her up, but there are some people back her, like that Gal Gadot chick. What did she say? Do you guys remember? She made it big and ruined it. You say she's already made it big? She's only 23? Yeah, and I know there's no excuse, right? Because I said this last time. When you're young, you tend to do stupid things. You're naive, you're impressionable, you're quite self-centered. But yeah, I mean, she's 20. I thought she was in... Honestly, the first time I watched anything about Snow White, I thought she must be in her late teenage years. But no, turns out she's in her 20s. What did Gal say? Well, apparently Gal was supportive. Like, yeah, because Gal's playing the evil queen, right? I don't know if she is supporting this chick, but I think she was they were interviewed, and Rachel said something about, you know, the gender thing. You know, like, we don't need a Prince Charming or whatever. And then Gal Gadot jumped in and said something else after that. But yeah. Anyway, this is almost finished, folks. One more minute. Do it later in life. Because I like Gal. I think she's awesome. I don't know. What's the drama now? It's talking about the end of woke Hollywood as we know it and kind of being okay with it. One more minute left.
To do meetups to talk to our fellow members of the audience. And currently, I'm in the UK doing just that. And the one thing I hear the most was, I thought I was alone. And as I've always said, this has always been bigger than Star Wars or Star Trek or Lord of the Rings. We've all noticed the degradation of our culture, and we were all told we were crazy for noticing it. And we were vilified for speaking out against it. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not crazy and you're not alone. In the race to turn our escapism and our entertainment into a platform for influence, Hollywood ended up losing its relevance. Hollywood found out that they don't get to choose their audience, the audience chooses them. And people are sick of the ingratitude and the divisiveness. And they've gone from disappointed to angry, which are still forms of caring, to complete apathy. No one cares that you're on strike. It's the end of woke Hollywood as we know it, and we feel fine. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the next video.
Wait, how do you guys feel about this?
Please subscribe.
Da, da, da. My God, look at what they've done to poor Tom Hanks. I like this guy, he's right. It was interesting, wasn't it? It was interesting where they talked about a whole bunch of stuff actually in this. A whole bunch of stuff, from the guy, that Steven guy from that 70s show, to where is it? What was that one? I can't find it. Yeah, obviously to Star Trek, to the dude going on to Jimmy Fallon. Apparently Jimmy Fallon's like this diva, Like, he is worse than Mariah Carey, apparently. I think he's definitely wrong, but says Jem. I think the more we focus, like there was this thing, where is it? I want to show you the list that said if you want to be on if you want to be accepted, where was it? It went on about the requirements for the Oscars. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna find it now. I don't know if we're gonna find it. It was here somewhere, and really interesting to read it. And it basically had all these things like there needs to be an Asian in there. There needs to be a black person in there. There needs to be a Pacific Islander in there. And they just by doing that, man, I'm Asian. So I'm gonna just say it. I'm mixed Asian anyways. I'm just gonna say it. It divides us. It feels weird when you do stuff like that. I don't get why they're trying to be all like, oh yeah, we're all equal. Everyone needs a chance at this. It's like, well, we already were. So why are we being weird about it? Why are we making a thing out of nothing? That is honestly how I feel. And I definitely don't mean to upset anyone, but that is honestly how I feel. And this is coming from someone who is, I'm Asian. I don't get why it has to be a requirement to there has to be an Asian in this, in a movie. Otherwise, it's not going to be favored. It's not going to be aired, like whatever it is. I think it's strange. I think that's strange. So yeah, that's something that I'm like really strongly, I guess, against. Yeah, I think that's weird. It's the same with black folks. Like I've talked to my friends that are black and they'll say to me, they're like, it's weird that they highlight us. Like, why are they highlighting us? We don't care for this stuff. Just like we don't care how the Wheel of Time, man. The Wheel of Time, it's got every single different type of person under the sun. There's a redhead, there's a black, there's a white, there's there's someone with green eyes, someone with blue eyes. Like, does it have to be like that? Does it have to be like that though? No one needs to. No, you don't need that. It doesn't have to be like that. It's making a big deal out of something that's not even a big deal. It kind of makes me feel more separated than together, if that makes sense. It's weird, man. I don't think it's gonna be forced. Just goes with the story. It just feels weird. So there's a redhead representation. I don't actually know if there is a redhead in there, but there is in Wheel of Time. Like one of the main actors is redhead, and like who cares? Right? Yeah, just edit out the bad acting. It's fine. Oh my god, yes. Did you watch Ahsoka? Ahsoka. Oh my Ahsoka.